Power did not protect her, and righteousness did not either. But Esther lived inside a system where favor was temporary and survival depended on silence. She did not rule, she did not command, she was selected. And what was given could be taken away, without warning, without explanation, without appeal. Esther's story is not about sudden courage. It is about restraint, about waiting inside danger until the moment demanded speech. Before Esther entered the palace, she lived a life designed to be unseen. She was an orphan, raised by her cousin Mordecai after her parents died, a young Jewish woman, born into exile, living inside a foreign empire that did not know her name. She held no rank, no protection, no expectation of significance. And then a royal order was issued. And Esther was taken into the court. Queen Vashti was removed, not for rebellion, but for refusing to be displayed.
I will leave on my own.
The king's response was not dialogue, it was replacement. Women were gathered from across the empire, taken into the royal household, evaluated and selected. Esther did not volunteer, she was taken. And when she entered the palace, she entered a system built not on consent, but on decree. The Persian Empire did not govern by negotiation. What the king spoke became law, unchangeable, even when unjust, even when fatal. Women were replaceable. Officials were disposable. Identity was not strength. It was liability. When Esther was taken into the royal household, she entered a world where obedience ensured survival and visibility invited death. She concealed her Jewish identity, not out of shame, but out of wisdom. In this empire, difference was dangerous, and survival here required restraint. Mordecai was not a revolutionary. He was a minor court official, a Jewish man living quietly inside the Persian system. Each day he passed through the palace gates, where officials were expected to bow before Haman, the king's highest-ranking advisor. Mordecai did not. This was not an act of rebellion. He did not organize resistance. He did not speak publicly. He simply refused to show reverence to a man who demanded it. In an empire built on hierarchy, refusal was not private, it was visible, and Haman noticed. Haman's authority could survive disobedience. It could not survive being exposed as optional. Haman's power was recent and it was fragile. Honor mattered more than authority. So he did not punish Mordecai alone. He sought to erase the reason Mordecai could refuse at all. Haman learned that Mordecai was Jewish, a member of a people scattered across the empire, living under Persian rule without protection. What followed was not discipline, it was annihilation. A royal order was sent to every province. On a single appointed day, the Jewish population was to be destroyed, men, women, children, their property seized, their existence erased. The order was sealed with the king's authority. It could not be revoked. Families read their own death sentence and were given time to wait. This was no longer a personal conflict. It was state-sanctioned extermination. And Esther was inside the palace, concealed, protected, and suddenly standing between silence and catastrophe. Esther had been in the palace for years, long enough to learn its rules, long enough to understand its silences, long enough to know that safety there was conditional. She had been chosen as queen after a year of preparation, not because she ruled, but because she pleased. Her position brought privilege, but it did not bring security. Access to the king was not guaranteed, even for a queen. To approach him uninvited was death, immediate and unquestioned. And Esther had not been summoned in 30 days. In a court ruled by favor, absence was not neutral, it was a warning. Outside the palace, the decree spread. Mordecai learned of it first, not as rumor but as law. He tore his clothes, he put on sackcloth, and he went to the palace gate where Esther's attendants would see him. Messages passed through intermediaries, not meetings, not safety. Mordecai sent word to Esther, not asking for courage, but naming reality. Do not think you will escape because you are in the palace. It was not a command, it was clarity. Esther finally understood what the palace had never promised her. She prepared. She waited. This waiting was not hesitation. It was calculation. Because in dangerous systems, timing is survival. Esther did not confront the king publicly. She invited him privately, not to a court gathering, not to a public feast. She arranged a small private meal, only the king, Haman, and herself. In the Persian court, private access mattered more than public display. Decisions were shaped in rooms like this, long before they were announced. At the first meal, Esther said nothing. She made no request. She let the moment settle. Haman left, believing the invitation meant protection, that being included meant being chosen. The second meal was not a delay. It was preparation. By then, the king had committed himself to hearing her. He asked for her request and promised it would be granted. Only then did Esther speak. She revealed the decree. She named the people it targeted, and she revealed that she herself belonged to them. When Esther spoke, the king finally understood what had been set in motion. Not a disagreement, not a political inconvenience, but the destruction of a people, including the woman sitting before him. His anger was swift. Not because the system was just, but because its consequences had become unavoidable, because a trusted advisor had acted in ways that now implicated the crown itself. Haman fell quickly, exposed not as a rival, but as a liability. He was executed by royal order, on the very instrument he had prepared for another. But the decree remained. In the Persian Empire, royal law could not be revoked, not even by the king who issued it. The machinery of destruction was already moving. So Esther acted again. She did not ask for the law to disappear. She asked for permission to survive within it. A second order was sent throughout the empire. The Jewish population was granted the right to gather, to arm themselves, and to defend their lives on the appointed day. Violence was not erased. There was fighting, there was loss, but there was also survival. The people lived, not because the empire became just, but because Esther forced power to make space for their endurance. Esther did not overthrow power. She did not purify the empire. She did not end violence. She intervened. She understood the limits of the world she lived in, and worked precisely inside them. She waited when speaking too soon would have meant death. She spoke when silence would have meant destruction. She used access without mistaking it for authority. Her story is not a lesson in heroism. It is a study in discernment. For those living inside systems that cannot be fixed from the outside, Esther offers something rarer than defiance. She shows how timing can redirect power already in motion, how restraint can expose danger, how survival sometimes depends not on changing the rules, but on understanding them completely. Esther did not save her people by force, and she did not survive by hiding forever. She learned when to wait, and when waiting was no longer an option, She acted once, and that was enough.